All right, folks, this is going to be an interesting one. We have two beautiful high premium knives, but they're not perfect? No, not at all. So we're going to talk about the Rike knife to sew, and this one came in this pouch. This is the Genex Primarch. Both very interesting, but no, not perfect in any way. Not as fast. Welcome aboard. Let's jump in. Which one should we do first? Let's just go straight to the Genex here, okay? So I didn't even know anything about Genex, and apparently this came to Kevin, Lefty EDC, through Get Good Screw. So if you guys don't know about them, they make bit drivers and stuff like that. I should have wiped this blade. I was just cutting with it and made a big mess. So there we go. Make that look a little bit better. But it is a gorgeous knife. This is absolutely beautiful. Not really my style with the recurve, compound ground, Tanto, harpoon Persian. Okay. Now I will say this, nice thick titanium handles that are flat but contoured and chamfered heavily. You have this crazy back spacer area here with a lanyard loop. Really cool milling there. I mean, how nuts is that? You do have, we'll talk about the inlay material in a minute, and then milled titanium. So this is a cutout, milled titanium in the middle. The inlay goes over the top. Matter of fact, let's just talk about these materials while I have this guy sitting here. So the pivot cap is zircuti. The thumb stud is zirconium. It is in Vanex, super clean. It is OEM'd by the folks over at, wow, Casey, Riot. And let's see if they tell me this material. That's not the same one here. Well, I'm not finding out about that inlay material as we speak. So this is great. I love it, Casey. So, yeah, but we'll find that here in just a minute. I will stop down and we'll find the exact material there. But again, Vanex steel. Now, good 4-finger grip. It is a thick boy, but feels great. You do have good jimping right here. Nowhere to really choke up unless you kind of trigger back. But boy, stay away from that edge. Your thumb goes right in this harpoon right here. Feels pretty dang good, really, to be honest. Again, this feels good as well. Interesting pivot cap over here. You do have a steel insert, which is really kind of a design element. Your lock recess is over here on this side. Now, an interesting point here on this one is the pocket clip. It is not a deep carry. There's a little bit, let's see, quite a bit, about that much sticking out of your pocket. It is not reversible, but you'll see right here when I first tried to put it in the pocket, I'm like, how does that work? It's not going in my pocket. And then I realized, oh, look, there's a screw or a pin, I guess. There's this. So we have a clip, a real clip. And so, yeah, that works really, really nicely. You have these ginormous thumb studs, which I wish were a little further forward, but it does work. You can get to them, as you can see. Again, I think it'd be better if they were just slightly further up. They do work. They feel good. No problems. I cannot middle finger flick it or anything else. Just thumb studs. Really cool screws, but again, proprietary. It does come with a little bit to take it apart. And yeah, really interesting indeed. Now, you can see fit and finish wise, there's some crazy stuff. We are dead centered, and it better be, because it comes out to this trough here in the back spacer. That is cool. When we are locked up, we're locked up only at about 10 to 15, but there is nothing happening here. It is locked up rock solid. All right. And again, you can see there, well, let's do it when it's open. You can see here, it says Vanex right there on your steel. Really beautiful design. I mean, again, not a big fan of this. Now, let's talk about, I said there's some issues. Here we go. Now this flat ground up here, hollow ground here. And this is one of the reasons I don't always like compound ground knives. Now, again, they were more concerned, I think, with the looks of this one, because what happens is here you have a very gradual plunge. You do have a sharpening choil, and you can look and you go, oh, that might be all right. You would be wrong. So when you turn this, you will see that we have a major unsharpened flat spot all the way out to here. Okay? Super interesting. So that means you only have this much of that hollow and that much flat. And you can see we are very wedgy. Now, I understand that some people buy knives and they buy them to add to their collection, and they maybe never cut with them. If you plan to cut with this, don't. It does cut if you get in that right spot, but if you try to cut anywhere up here or down here at that transition, so there's literally a sweet spot, right, man, and you have to locate that sweet spot every time you want to cut. Not for me. Nice piercing tip. Man, can you cut with the... No, I mean, the flat is so thick. Yeah, it cuts, but it is not good. So if you want this knife to be a cutter, it's not. It's kind of disappointing that this is a big, thick chunk of Vanex, and you can't really cut. Now, you do have good access to the lock bar there and a nice chamfer, and it is a dropper, man. It is a controlled dropper, very nice. Again, detent is good. Everything is good. Ergos are fine. You can sort of feel that in your grip right there, but it's, I mean, not a problem. So really, I mean, as long as you just want to fidget with it, it's great. You know, and again, this particular version right here is $529. But give me a second. I'm going to stop and see if I can find this version right here. Okay, hold on. All right, so I wasn't able to find this exact version. I believe this is Timascus right here, and that may be a Timascus actual pivot cap, and I'm not sure about the rest, but that one's $585. This one's probably $600 or so, $625. I don't know, and I do think that's zirconium there on the thumb studs. These seem to be out of stock everywhere, but you know, I've seen them. I saw one on Blade Binge for $585, which is, you know, crazy because that's kind of what at least that base model I was looking at is. Maybe this one's like $650 or something. That would make more sense. But really, really interesting as far as specs on this one. By the way, this is a mid-tech, which is really interesting. All right, we're going to do our own specs here because not good listing there. The blade itself is a 3 1/4, but again, you're going to be at like 2 3/4 on sharpened there. It's 8 inches overall, which means the handle is from grippable is going to be about 4 inches. You know, really cool in that regard. Now that blade stock, let's talk about, man, this is going to be a long video, by the way, guys. That blade stock is 0.17, so pretty thick. And this handle is going to be like 0.7 probably. No, 0.56. It's not as thick as I thought. Not even close. And then as far as weight, sorry, guys, we'll get this done. It's going to be 6 ounces or so, 5.5 to 6. Ooh, 6.77. So again, kind of up to you if you find this one interesting or not, but we'll do more comparisons with it at the end. Now let's move on to the Rike Tissot, since this is such a long video. Now this one has an incredibly cool looking blade, if you ask me, and we're just going to cut right off the top here because, and I've got this giant chunk of cardboard. You can see this one redeems the cutting prowess. This is absolutely fantastic. Now I'm not even cutting on camera. Fantastic. Great cutter. Great cutter. So now we can all feel better about cutting things after the last one. Now, we have a beautiful blade here in M390. Gorgeous looking blade. What do you guys think of that blade? I think it is a deep hollow grind. You can see M390 right there. It is a very deep hollow grind, big tall blade, which means it's going to cut. I'm not too worried about that thumb stud getting in the cutting path. Now you do have full titanium handles. Now it does look like it is an integral, and it is not. You just flip this little switch and push forward. Yep, there we go. It's trying to cut me. There we go. And now you have an open liner lock, as you can see here. It is a inset liner lock, steel liner lock there, just kind of screwed in. There is no weight relief going on. Didn't need it. But really cool that you can open it up to clean it. Now you just slip this back on and close that switch, and you're back in business. Your pocket clip was attached to that. You can see stylist Richard Wu 2024. Clip does work very well. No problems there. It is deep. Somewhat deep. There's a little bit sticking out. It is not reversible. Now, let's talk about my big issue with this one. Sometimes we go for style. Oh, by the way, this pivot is incredibly beautiful. Gorgeous, beautiful lockup area. By the way, good access to the lock bar with some chamfer. Some scalloping there, but easy to eat. Whoa. You can, by the way, decent sharpening choil. Your plunge is a little bit close there. Probably 2 or 3 sharpens, and then you might end up with a small smile. Not too bad. Just wish people would do harder plunges on these kinds of knives. Now, you would think fairly expensive knife again. By the way, crown spine, that they would give you a really good way to deploy this knife. Now, I cannot middle finger flick it. I can thumb flick it, but you have to take your time and index this guy. You have to be choked kind of up there. And now it works really well. The D10 is great, and that works well, but you can't just grab it and go. You got to slip up here and go. Now, I can't middle finger flick it. I've tried. Now, my other thing is I think it was a miss by not putting a top to this fuller. If they had just done that even out to here, give me a little lip here to flick it, to middle finger flick it, that would have been incredible. Now, is that thumb stud bad? No. Is it my preferred style of thumb stud? Nah. I would rather just have something easy to index and do. Now, it works, as you can see, for sure. I mean, it's not bad. And I got the blade all dirty when I was cutting, of course. That's what we do here. Now, as far as price and specs on this one, and I do know I still have a couple other things to talk about there. This one is $365. These are available. It is 8.27 inches overall with a 3.74 inch blade with a 4.5 millimeter blade thickness, which is 0.18 of an inch. But again, tall enough blade that it, and deep enough hollow grind, it does not matter. They call it an overlocking integral shell, 5.29 ounces, made by Rike in China. And again, Bowler M390 for the steel. And these are actually available now. Now, as far as when you're locked up, nothing. It is locked up like a drum. You have about a 10 to 15 on the lockup, comes all the way out and is dead center. Now, my only other issue with this one is you can see we are very flat and not chamfered at all here. This is a 90-degree corner, 90-degree corner, 90-degree corner. And of course, because you have these heavy chamfers, now you have these thin pieces of titanium to contend with. Now, if you're choked up here, this front finger feels great, but this, not good, okay? Now, is it horrible? No. You can relax your grip, and it works okay. This jimping is incredible. This feels really good. By the way, these corners also not chamfered. I don't understand it. For me, this needs to be chamfered hardcore. It is, I'm the CEO, the chief ergonomics officer. And to me, it just needs chamfers very, very much through there. So again, two really expensive knives that to me have some issues. And again, everybody has different things that they care about. And for me, the sharpening on these and the ability to cut with the prime arch and the ergonomics on the Tissot are not what I would prefer. So, to each their own, but I'm always going to point it out to you guys. You can see both are way bigger than the Rat 2. The Rat 1 is a little bit larger than both. And really interesting designs overall. Now, I'm sure some of you are big time high-end knife collectors, and you're going to tell me some things that I don't know. I look forward to that. Just these are not necessarily ones I would go after, because I'm one of these guys. Look, I got a whole Morpheus that I cut with all the time. I carry, I cut, I use that knife. So for me, I would rather have something more usable for me, but these are gorgeous and I'm glad I got to check them out. So guys, thank you. Give me a thumbs up, a comment down below, and make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell to all. And thanks for watching the Knives Fast channel.